2022 could be the year that Instagram will die. It could also be the year where you will finally emerge, grow a lot of followers, and make a ton of money. So let's identify some trends that we can see on the horizon, giving you some unfair advantage actually for this coming year. So listen closely. Earlier this month, Instagram published its own 2022 trend report. What a weird number. This has to be a great year, right? Like the last few ones. Anyway, they talked about the trends that they could see based on their data and based on some surveys that they did. And one thing that's pretty interesting is that less and less people seem to care about this weird, crazy, over-the-top, absurdist humor. While, and this is the interesting thing, since the pandemic, basically, a lot of people are second-guessing their traditional career and education choices, stating that they'd rather learn from the real-world experience of others. Now, what does that mean? Reading between the lines, you need to tap into educational and relatable content. Show what you did, how you did it, tell people your opinion about things, become a spokesperson for your niche, for example, and yeah, people will notice that. Now, how are you gonna do that? And this is another part of what will happen in 2022. Create super snackable content, preferably video content, so Reels, TikToks, basically create simple and easy to understand and consume content. Now, talking about how video is going to be more and more important on the platform. They've been talking about this for the past year. This week, yet again, our old friend Mosseri came out to say, well, yeah, next year we're going to do a lot of video. Duh.
2022 is going to be an even bigger year. We're going to have to rethink what Instagram is because the world is changing quickly and we're going to have to change with it. We're going to double down on our focus on video. We're no longer just a photo sharing app and consolidate all of our video formats around Reels and continue to grow that product.
Basically, and this is another rumor and prediction on my part, that there will actually be a video first feed on Instagram. You know, maybe even something including stories. There's also already been some leaks about that. Some people having these down and up swipeable Instagram stories. So we're gonna see if this is gonna become the main feed at some point next year. Probably so, if you ask me. Now, talking about the whole story game, because lots of people seem to forget them, it seems like, but create more stories, especially next year. We're going to see an uptick in stories becoming more and more important. It feels like stories right now are the undervalued underdog of content creation. And if you're not actively developing your story strategy, you'll actually lose out on the game. People are sick of overly edited static images, even though, my friends, they have a place. With stories, you can just branch out, you know, connect with your audience with the poll and stuff like this, with those stickers. I'm also pretty sure they're gonna double down more on interaction features, maybe different sorts of polls or different sorts of ways to actually connect with your audience and yeah, get people to relate with you. Now, talking about video and short form content and snackable content, it seems like all of those platforms, mainly TikTok and Instagram, are toying with the idea of longer-ish video content. Obviously, right now, you might know that the sweet spot of Reels is at about 15 to 30 seconds. But Instagram right now, first of all, is testing 60-second stories, which is probably gonna come next year. And TikToks can now actually be up to 3 minutes. So we're gonna see where this leads us. The important thing is though, if you mainly create, you know, super short, snackable content that you're supposed to do, snappy Reels, educational, you know, carousels as well, make sure to have at least one other content outlet that serves more relatable long-form content, right? Don't just have this one form of creating content where you're like, okay, this is what works well for me. I'm just gonna have these educational Reels or these educational carousels, you know, because this is what works for me in terms of metrics. But no, the connection with the audience, which is also important for the algorithm and, you know, all of these other things, these complicated things that we're not going to talk about right now. Important to switch this up. So make sure you have at least one other content outlet that serves more relatable long form content. You know, whether it's a podcast, for example, or a YouTube channel, or if you want to stay on Instagram, you can, you know, just go live every week and hang out with your audience. Yeah. Now, talking about monetization and this whole realm of making money with your Instagram, with your social medias, the Metaverse and especially NFTs will change the game quite a bit. And if you're about to click away because this VR thing is just not for you, don't click away because it's actually not really about VR, the Metaverse, at least for now. And it could make you a ton of money, even if you're a small creator. So listen carefully, my friend. We already are in the Metaverse. We have been for quite some time. And I think people don't really understand it the right way. Basically, the Metaverse is everything that happens digitally. Back in the days, you went outside to hang out with your friends every now and then, and now you're pretty much connected 24/7 via Messenger, via Instagram, via basically everything online, social media. Same thing with work. Lots of people just need a computer and that's it. Work, the actual things that are happening digitally. And also with your assets, they're going digital too with crypto. So we're kind of in a situation where our digital life is worth more, or at least the same as our offline life, or at least it's starting to begin that way. And this is where it gets interesting for you as an Instagram or a social media content creator, because you're going to be able to hop on that movement early, and that movement's going to be a big one. It's going to be at least as big as the initial launch of MySpace. Yes, I'm not kidding. It's that big of a deal. And for example, you can just hop on that trend by dropping an NFT collection. And this is where Instagram comes into play, and this whole metaverse comes into play. And contrary to what most people think, NFTs are not just some JPEGs. It's actually about the smart contract that you can put underneath it. And basically it could be anything, like people having access to you, certain privileges, offline products even. Basically, just get creative. Basically, there's no border. Plus, people can actually trade with that thing. For example, you being an emerging content creator, and they can actually sort of invest in your future, because obviously you're gonna grow ideally, and if they identify that. And then things are gonna get really interesting. We're gonna make a video about that here. It's kind of complicated. I'm actually planning a special NFT launch pretty soon that will, just go way beyond just a bunch of JPEGs. Obviously, I'm gonna show you what I mean with that. And with Instagram currently creating an NFT marketplace where you can connect your crypto wallets to make this whole experience seamless, I guess 2022 will be a year where some small but very smart creators will become millionaires. So do your research, get into this whole NFT crypto thing. Even though if you don't wanna, I tell you right now, it's gonna come to Instagram, it's gonna come to Meta, it's gonna change the whole landscape a little bit. And if you know what you're doing, because we're still early on, there's a lot of leverage that you can take away from that. So the other thing is, talking about money, if you take a look at the Instagram trend report again, they also say that especially younger people are leaning more and more into buying things directly on Instagram. So another thing that we're gonna see is basically the whole shopping experience with checkout and everything together being brought onto Instagram. They've surveyed people saying that they'd rather spend money on Instagram for somebody local or real as opposed to big chain stores. So yet another thing, this is where the metaverse is really starting to happen, because it's like offline shopping plus digital shopping, stuff like this. This is the metaverse, my friends, and this is where we're heading towards. Now, another thing that's going to be pretty big this coming year, I guess, is the whole algorithm and what I call the creator purge. With Brand Connect coming, or whatever it's called, don't ask me. Basically, with brands being able to see real-time analytics of potential partners, of influencers, and then on top of that, Instagram continuously tweaking its algorithms to go where people get the best time from. I'd say the game is getting harder than ever, while also being easier than ever. And taking a look at the past year, I'd say the rules have changed quite a bit, especially for the Instagram algorithm, and I'd actually say for the better, actually quite for the better. There used to be a time when it was pretty unpredictable to grow on Instagram. People exploiting the system used to be the best way of getting results in terms of vanity metrics, meaning the illusion of having a big audience, because basically that's what it is. Nobody really cared for a bunch of those big influencers that blew up right from the beginning. And maybe it was even a part of Instagram's early strategy to get some hype and show people, wow, crazy amount of followers, crazy amount of reach is possible, by enabling and sort of encouraging people to use those exploits and stuff like this. But people have slowly understood what it's really about, and I'd say Instagram has finally entered the real content creator landscape, on par sort of with YouTube, with the, where the content creators are now. With the times that we're in, shorter form content, attention spans being lower and lower, obviously it's a natural progression for Instagram to go into that direction. And yeah, here's what's up. Obviously Instagram did that by mostly copying stuff together. And if we take a look at Instagram's inspiration number one and its business tagline, is basically, don't make ads, make TikToks. Whoa. That was a close one. And this is also very much true for making it on Instagram. Be more creative, more authentic, and create content that truly speaks to people. And this is what the algorithms are about. This is what people are looking for in social media in 2022. And we can clearly see that this has been the algorithms' mission this past year to actually figure that out. And everybody fails to jump on that real creator train, you know, connecting with people, being authentic while also being fresh. You know, if you're not jumping on that train, you will just get left on the table. Pretty exciting things if you ask me. We've got a lot of things to talk about this coming year. And in the meantime, why don't you watch this video to get a feel for working growth strategies for the coming year?